warriors. How are you all doing? I'm jumping on live. I didn't really advertise this post very well, so if none of you turn up, then that's fine. I hope you're all doing well. I will wait for a few of you to arrive if you do arrive. And let's get the show on the road. Let's do it. I hope you've had a good sleep. I slept like a log last night. Such a good sleep. I've been out surfing. Let me just sort out my lighting here. By the way, we've had the house done. Can you see all the work we've had done? The flooring and stuff. Put wood flooring in. There's my surf photo on the wall. Look. I think I'm this guy here. Can you see? Pointing. Isn't that a beautiful photo? So I had to have that one up. I got a few surf photos. Not many. I'm not too narcissistic. This is my other surfing photo. I think I've pointed to you there. Look. There's another little one. But we had the house done. And yeah, it's exciting. I need to put the Christmas lights on. Hang on. Let me turn up the lighting. So, hey, how you doing, guys? Yeah, I slept like a log. I think it's because I'd surfed for 3 hours yesterday. I was in the sea. And, hey, Caroline. Hi, Corona. Thanks for the compliments about the photo. Which one, Caroline? The big, long one? Or the little one? Yeah, I mean, there's nothing, God, I tell you what, there's nothing like the sleep that you have when you've exercised that much. So if you just want that great sleep, go hiking for hours in the day, or go surfing for hours, or do something active outdoors in nature for hours and hours. And I tell you, the sleep you get is phenomenal. Oh, cool. Nice one, Caroline. I'm glad you enjoyed that photo. It's a nice photo, isn't it? Guys, I just want to firstly talk about last night's post. I put up a post last night, which a lot of you may have seen, regarding some of the posts we've been seeing. So, in hindsight, I think that I'd been letting quite a lot of negative posts come through onto the page, onto the group. But it's only in hindsight I was able to see that, and I had it raised to me by someone, and that's been really thankful for, because I do not want this group to start becoming that place where people can be just a bit negative and whatnot. However, like all these things, being vulnerable is very different, and I think being vulnerable is okay. But I think if you're listening to this message, my friend, let the group really get to know who you are first before you're vulnerable. There's a lot of research on why being vulnerable with strangers is actually not the greatest idea, because we don't know who you are. So the key, like a lot of these things, like if you look at someone like there are many names I could rattle off, but there's a lot of people on this group who really contribute a hell of a lot. If they come in with a post that's a bit more like, oh guys, I'm struggling or whatever, then everybody goes, oh okay, we're listening because we know you, we understand what you're going through, we trust you, but you got to build that trust. So if you're fairly new to the group and you jump in with, oh guys, I'm struggling, blah blah blah, that can be quite difficult for people to manage because they don't have your trust yet, and that's what a lot of vulnerability is built on. A lot of vulnerability research shows that if you want to really have someone help you in that way and you be vulnerable with them, they need to have your trust first. They really do. So there's just that little bit. Keep the posts positive, guys. Let's keep the vibes positive. Let's keep them loving and happiness boosting and joyous. But sometimes let's have them be vulnerable because we've got to be real as well. But I think the message got through in that post, and I really appreciate you guys reading it. If you did read it, if you haven't read it yet, I'd really appreciate if you could read it. It was quite nerve-wracking to write because it just was. Because when you're a leader, you got to make some decisions sometimes, and sometimes they're a little bit scary, a little bit nerve-wracking, but in the end, they're worth it. So, my friends, Dealing with difficult people. Dealing with difficult people. A few years ago, I had a situation arise that I was not expecting, where I was really massively hurt by someone. And looking back through time now, I've grown in humility enough, or at least I hope I have, to have noticed that there was a massive grain of truth in what they were saying. Now, we're going to all face criticism in life, and we're all going to face difficult people, and we're all going to get called out from time to time, and in fact we're all going to get hurt, and nobody wants to have any of those things happen to them. But the question we have to ask ourselves is, what's the grain of truth? What's the grain of truth in what they're saying? Because it is so easy for the ego to be like, oh, fuck you, you're a twat, you're a cunt, you're a dickhead, go away, you know, you've hurt me, blah, 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 and just ignore all of the truth they might be speaking. Because what happens is, it's a paradox, right? If we're able to go, okay, that sucked, I didn't want that, but then able to be like, okay, what's the grain of truth in that? It keeps us humble. And when we stay humble like that, we get to learn about ourselves. And if there is a thing that we are doing, let's say in romantic relationships, that we haven't learned from our previous one, and we're still doing it again, and it's affecting the current one that we're in, well, we're heading down a slippery road, aren't we? But with humility, we can be like, okay, yeah, no, I did have a tendency to be like that. That's why that relationship maybe didn't work. So in this relationship, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to make it work. But that takes humility, and I think humility is something you can develop. Humility is something that you can work on. If you know you have these certain traits that people have called you out on, not that that was fun, but if you have certain traits and certain characteristics and ways, what is that trying to teach you? Now, for me, the biggest lesson that I ever learned about dealing with difficult people who want to call me out or want to criticize or poke fun, is don't take yourself so fucking seriously, Will Foster. Stop taking yourself so fucking seriously. You're just a dude. This is just your ego talking. And when I'm able to do that, I'm happier. I'm happier because I don't get as affected by people. It's very easy to get on the defensive with people when we are taking ourselves too seriously. There's a great little story from Wayne Dyer that he talks about, which is this. It's called the rule number 62, or I think it's rule number 7. No, rule number 7. So anyway, these politicians are waiting to go in to see this head of state because they've got this real bone to pick, and it's just really, they're really, really stressed, and they're very angry with the person who's inside the office. So they're getting ready to go in there, and they're sort of these 3 politicians. The first one goes in, walks in, and within 10 seconds, comes out like, yeah, feeling all right, and looks at the 2 other politicians, and they look at him and say, God, what just happened? You look so well. You look so happy and peaceful. And the politician just says, rule number 7. And the politicians look at him and think, Jesus, what's rule number 7? Anyway, the next guy goes in. Hey, Soph, good to see you. The next guy goes in, next politician, who's all ready to have it out and fucking, come on, I'm going to do this. Fucking people, this guy, he's made me so angry. All his policies and all these things. And he goes in there. 5 seconds later, comes out of the room. Oh, well, yeah. And he's sort of smiling, and his shoulders are down and relaxed, and he sort of looks quite chilled. And The politician looks at him, who's sat on the chair waiting to go in, looks at him and says, dude, what's going on? Like, is there someone in there giving out like free blowjobs or something? Like, what is happening right now? And anyway, he just shrugs his shoulders and just says, rule number 7. And anyway, the politician's like, what's this rule? And anyway, the last politician just walks in to the room. And he's full of stress, and he's ready to, and he looks at this guy, and he says, I don't want to know. What's rule number 7? He just asks him, he says, what's rule number 7? And the guy just says, stop taking yourself so goddamn seriously. Stop taking yourself so goddamn seriously. Defensiveness is a sign of a delicate ego, and a delicate ego that feels the need to protect itself from invaders. But the irony is, in protecting ourselves, we do nothing but harm ourselves because we become stressed. So how is protection that causes stress causing us to be truly protected? Because true protection is where you don't get defensive, is where you don't get affected by difficult people. It's where you just accept them for the way that they are, and you let them be right. And I know that's not the easiest thing in the world to do, and fucking hell, it's a challenge. I'm saying this now as a person who deals with weekly difficult people. It's a challenge. And also I deal with difficult people where I know I'm the one causing the difficulty. Like, I know that I am the one who's overreacting to what people are doing, but based on past events and things. But all I can do is aim to get a little bit better every time. Get a little bit better the next time. And not beat myself up if I lose my rag or get a bit angry or get a bit frustrated. It's just not be hard on myself. Don't be hard on yourself, my friend. If you do find yourself getting a little bit frustrated with people, getting a little bit angry or whatever may happen, don't beat yourself up. That's never going to be a wise move. But more just gently just say to yourself, well, okay, well, how can I get better next time? Because there's always something you can do. And for me, my learnings have always been to get myself into the best possible health and well-being, so that when I'm with person X, Y, or Z, I'm able to manage them that bit better. Because I think that managing difficult people and managing people in general is about how you're feeling. Now, if you've had a super late night of drinking and then you are trying to deal with difficult people the next day, well, lo and behold, it's it's almost impossible. Whereas if you've been to bed early and you've just been drinking water and you've got up, done your meditation, you've done stretching, you've done your breathing, you've been walking in the day, you've been eating salads, you've drinking more water, you've been staying hydrated and done exercise, and you've lived a wellness life. You've been living that life. When you've been doing that, that difficult person comes along, it's more like, oh, yeah, that's fine. That's no big deal. But when we're not well, it's so much harder to deal with them. And I think that's why it takes us being so humble, because if we're not in that good place, which is life, like we might be having a cold, or we might be feeling a bit ill, or we might have had a few more difficult sleeps, or be dealing with stress or whatever, is to be gentle on yourself. Just in general. Just to be gentle on yourself about what you expect from yourself when you've been going through a more difficult time. Because you don't have to set the bar so high. Of course, setting the bar high can be good in a way, because you get stuff done and you are probably very driven. But there's also a caveat to setting the bar too high, which is that you beat yourself up as a parent, as a lover, as a worker, as an entrepreneur, as whatever it is that you do. But you beat yourself up, and there's no need to. Because if you just accept that life goes through through twists and turns, it can be like you can go from, oh, I wish I'd dealt with that a bit better, to no, I dealt with that in the best way that I could at that time, and I will learn from it, and I will go forward, and I will move forward, and I will try to get better. Because that was all we can ever try and be. It's just a little bit better than we were before. My friends, that was just a little piece this morning on dealing with difficult people. I think it really is just truly about not beating yourself up if you slip, number one. Number two, take great care of yourself. I think the better you take care of your health, the easier it is to deal with difficult people. And number three, remain incredibly fucking humble and don't take yourself so seriously. If people poke fun at you or they have something with you or critique or whatever, first and foremost, what is the grain of truth in what they're saying? And it will not be easy to take, but it will be beneficial to your happiness in the end. My friends, it has been a glorious week being on this group, and I honestly have so much joy. My mornings now, I have so much purpose when I get up in the morning. And I won't lie that peeling myself out of bed sometimes is a bit tricky. I peel myself out of bed. I come down. It gives me even more purpose to get my deep breathing done. I come downstairs and I do all my deep breathing, shamanic breaths with little stretches and different things. I do like 20 minutes and my brain just feels ready to go. And it gives me that motivation to take even better care of myself, because when I jump on board these calls, I want to be in great form. I want to be feeling good. I want to be feeling sharp. I want to give you guys the best content that I can. And I want you to know that I'm going to be around for years, and I'm going to be here, and I'm going to be serving, because for me, a life of service is a life of purpose, and a life of purpose is a life of happiness. And if I can feel like I'm just making even just one person's day, even the tiniest bit more conscious, or better, or happier, or whatever, or calmer, if I can do even just the tiniest good thing, I will go to bed tonight a happy man, knowing that I left the world in a slightly better place than I found it. And if you feel like you ever want to voice stuff to me about the group, the vibe you're feeling, the strengths, the weaknesses, I'm humble enough to take it. Fucking just chime in and just talk to me directly, okay? And say, you're finding this really cool, that's really cool, this is finding difficult, you're not enjoying that, da-da-da. Please, please, please message me. It's so important that you remember this is your journey, it's our journey, and it's my journey, it's our journey together. And I think that you've got to be direct with your communication. Don't hide behind the scenes, wishing the group was something a bit different. Come in, message me, because I can't pick up on everything. You can't expect me to pick up on every single vibe in the group, because I'm going to produce the content that I can produce. Now I go off and I've got clients today. I've got my daughter. We're going to go out for a date together. I'm going to have my coffee with my wife. I've got my day to live. I'm going to go surfing. So I don't pick up on the vibe all the way through in the group all the time. So you've got to really remember that you're just as much of a leader within this group as I am, and be involved in that, okay? And it's super important that you just message me and let me know what's going on. Please do. My friends, I love you loads. I will see you so soon. It's Freestyle Saturday tomorrow. Post up that video, even if it's a minute long, about something that is close to your heart that you think could benefit somebody else. It would be so cool to see your post. My friends, I love you. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.